Hi, my name is Faith Allaire, author of Children's of the Plains. Today, I'd like to read a portion of it to you to see if it's something you may enjoy reading. Chapter 1. Zane was an easygoing kid. He did not ask for much. All he needed was a good video game to play, his comfy chair that held his drink, and maybe even a snack or two to keep him energized. It was a simple happiness that kept him out of trouble. His granny was an old-world, old-school lady who did not appreciate his love for senseless violence. She didn't even like basic race car games because you could crash into each other and it would appear as if no one were hurt. She claimed that games gave him an unhealthy perspective about reality. It also, according to her, gave him a big case of the lazies. As if Zane, being one of the smartest kids in his class, couldn't tell the difference between what was real and what was not. The fact that a dragon was the driver of one of his favorite racing games was proof enough that the games weren't even close to resembling real life. Zane once had tried to rationalize these outdated notions to his grandmother. He had used his best persuasive skills so that she could see how dated her thoughts on the subject were. One of his main points was that violence could be found in the real life too. There were even bad guys preying on the innocent. In fact, Zane insisted, if there was no violence and bad guys in the real world, his father would be flipping burgers or working retail instead of being a submariner. As for the case of the lazies, Zane was a pretty quick kid. When they ran in gym class, he was one of the first to reach the finish line. He even did soccer for a season, but was bored out of his mind running from one end of the field to the next. He could be physical if he wanted to. He just didn't want to. He lastly told her that video games could be a great learning tool. He pointed out that the military used simulators to create real-life scenarios for training purposes. As he was so passionate about convincing his granny that he was right, he clipped out an article from the newspaper showing how surgeons benefited from the hand-eye coordination that could be developed through playing certain games. Zane would argue that video games saved someone's life. But old school, old world ladies do not like hearing persuasive arguments that go against what they believe. He could have won a Nobel Peace Prize for his research on the benefits of video gaming, and she would still roll her eyes and scoff that even researching about video games was a waste of time. That's why he knew he was in trouble when he learned he'd be spending an entire summer at his granny's house. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll look forward to purchasing the book when it is published. Thank you.